So hot.
Me too. I haven't picked that many weeds in years.
So how was it?
Thank you. It was hot, but all of our neighbors' flower beds and gardens look great.
Yeah, and the neighbors who have the chickens gave us some of their eggs.
They did, and not only did they pay us in eggs, but they gave us money for helping pick weeds. Well, I'm gonna go get cleaned up for work, but remember to take that money and put it in your missions bank for church on Sunday.
Oh, right.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Grandpa, I am not saying this to complain. I know Mom is just trying to help. But is this really worth giving to the Duncans so they can become missionaries?
Well, it is a lot of work, but let me ask you a question. Where do you think I got this water?
From the kitchen?
Well, the Duncans are going to a part of the world where the people don't have fresh water in their houses. They have to travel a long way to get water from a river. Say, don't the Duncans have a daughter about your age?
Yeah, Shaylee Duncan. She's a year younger than I am.
Well, and Shaylee's parents are going to help dig a well and tell the people about God because there isn't a church in that place.
Why do they want to go?
Because God spoke to him and asked him to. You know, God loves every person, but many people in that village don't know that he loves them. Mr. Duncan told me that as a family, they already feel God's love for the people there.
Do you think the Duncans are sad to leave their friends?
Oh, I'm sure that they're sad to give up what they know, but they're also really excited. You know, the Duncan family will become great friends with the people in the village, and Shaylee will discover that many of the kids there, although they wear different clothes and eat different foods, well, they like to have fun and play games just like you do. And they're saying yes to what God is asking them to do, which gives them happiness that comes from deep down inside. You know, I just thought of a Bible story about a guy who had a chance to say yes to what God was asking him to do. I'll tell you all about it. Let me get the Bible. Oh, hi kids. Are you ready to hear a Bible story with us?
Yes! Yes!
Okay, so this story is from the Bible's book of Jonah. Do you have any guess who's in this story?
Jonah!
Jonah was an Israelite. And one day God's voice called to Jonah and told him to go to a city called Nineveh and tell the people there about God. Nineveh was away from Jonah's town and looked very different from his.
Did you say God told Jonah to go to Vanilla?
Nineveh. Let's all say Nineveh together.
Nineveh!
And Jonah looked at the people in Nineveh with his own human eyes and not God's eyes. They were hurting others, hurting themselves, and doing some very wrong things. But God loved them and wanted them to turn their hearts to Him.
Grandpa, I think that's our faith fact for today. God loves everyone. Let's ring the bell and see if we're right. God loves everyone. Great job, everyone. Let's say it again. God loves everyone.
Jonah didn't really get that faith fact. He didn't want to go to Nineveh, so Jonah tried something that never works. He tried to run away from God.
Grandpa, a clue!
You ride in this on lakes and oceans.
What could it be? Let's put on our binoculars.
It steers using a motor or sails.
Do you think it's a ship?
Yes!
Do you think Jonah could run away from God on a ship?
No!
God saw Jonah on that ship, and God cared enough about Jonah and the people of Nineveh to do something to stop him.
What did God do?
Well, a storm came up. The wind blew on the waves, and the ship was tossed up and down on the water. And the sailors were scared that the ship would sink, and they asked Jonah to pray to God and make the storm stop. Jonah knew that he had disobeyed God by running away, So he told the sailors to throw him overboard. I don't know what Jonah was thinking, because he must have known he couldn't swim to the shore since they were a long way from land. But that's what Jonah said to do, so that's what the sailors did. But what Jonah didn't know was that God was not giving up on him.
A clue!
This creature has fins and gills.
What could it be? Let's put on our binoculars and look around.
It swims in lakes and oceans, rivers and ponds.
Do you think it's a fish?
Yes.
God sent a big fish, and it came and swallowed Jonah whole with one big chomp.
So Jonah was inside the fish?
Yes. And it turns out that a little timeout was exactly what Jonah needed. He sat in the stomach of that fish for not 1, not 2 days, but 3 days. And while Jonah spent his hours and minutes in that fish, he decided to pray. And Jonah thanked God for saving his life, and Jonah said he would tell others to give their hearts to the one true God. And God heard his prayer. And after the 3rd day, God made the fish throw Jonah onto dry ground.
Grandpa, this is one wild story.
It is, isn't it? On the 2nd time, God told Jonah to go to Nineveh and tell the people to turn their hearts to God. What do you think he did?
He went to Nineveh.
Yes, Jonah traveled to Nineveh. And here's the biggest miracle. The people of Nineveh listened to what Jonah said. The entire city realized they were doing wrong things, and they asked God for forgiveness. A fish swallowing a man is surprising, but a huge city of people turning their hearts to God is really the exciting part of this story. There is a sad part to Jonah's story. Even though Jonah saw the miracle God did for the people of Nineveh, Jonah was angry at God for forgiving them. And I want this story to remind me to always keep my heart open to God's love for everyone. And when we see the Duncans choosing to love people with God's love, well, do you think a little hard work and sweat is worth it to help them?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I've always felt like pulling weeds makes me really hungry. What about you? You want to go grab some lunch?
Sure, Grandpa. We'll see you next time. Come back soon, okay? Bye.